Hello, people. It's your boy Archer Smitty, and welcome back to another video. And in today's video, I got the Five Nights at Freddy's FNAF movie review. Now, I got a lot of stuff to say about this movie. I once again, like I said in my reactions to the trailers, I am a fan of these movies. I'm a fan of the series. Growing up, I used to play these games in school. I used to get my phone taken away because of this game. I used to play this game whenever I got home. But there was one thing I never really focused on. I never focused on. I'm gonna make this quick. I never focused on the story. I didn't know there was a story. Those little mini side missions you play after you complete a night, I never focused on those. I never even knew that there was stuff to go along with that. I didn't know that was a story. Now, as time went on, my friend Will, you can follow his channel, Will the Experience, told me more about Five Nights at Freddy, and he gave me some videos to watch, gave me some more stuff to go into on about the lore. And I thought, as the lore, it's really cool. And it sounds like something great you could do with a movie. I really thought, like, if someone makes a movie about this, this would be amazing. This would be perfect. It sets up everything. Everything it is. Michael and his brother Evan are the son of William Ashton, a guy who eventually becomes a serial killer and creates these creepy looking animatronics and kills 5 kids. And these 5 kids possess the animatronics. And he wears this other creepy costume and eventually gets killed by the animatronics. And then those animatronics, it's like a whole bunch of stuff. You just go look up some lore videos on it and you will understand everything. But I will say, based after watching this movie, okay. Let me put it this way. If you are not a fan of Five Nights at Freddy, a big fan of Five Nights at Freddy, if you have not played the games or if you have not looked up any lore, there might be a chance you'll like this movie, but there might also be a chance that you will not like this movie. This movie really, to some degree, really requires that you know the lore and that you have played the games, because there's a lot of moments. There are a lot of moments where, pretty much throughout the entire movie, the movie really requires that you know the lore. Because if you don't know the lore, then you're not going to notice the changes that they do to the lore, of course, and you're not going to notice some of the stuff the lore entails. The story doesn't really explain anything. It doesn't really tell you anything. You really are expected to know pretty much everything. But if you're a newcomer just coming in, just wanting to watch it, I mean, I think it is a decent film. I think it's okay. I don't think it's terrible like the critics are saying. I disagree with that. I feel like the critics are rating it this low because the movie doesn't explain that much and doesn't really tell you exactly what is happening outside of like what's going on with the animatronics. So I feel like that's why the critics are rating it so low. But I will advise you, before you see this movie, look up the lore. Maybe at least play the first and the second game, a little bit of the third game. Yeah, actually no, play the first, second, and third game. You don't gotta beat it, or watch some gameplay on it, and then look up a theory about the gaming theories or the story behind it, and then go see the movie. But because I am a fan and I like the stories, and I had a bunch of fans in the theater with me. My theater was packed. My theater was completely packed. Everyone was going crazy. It was just, it was people clapping, screaming, everything. As a one of the fan, I clapped. I didn't really clap, but I was still happy. I was still happy with some things, but it's just a lot of stuff I wish they would have just done better. For one, Matthew Lillard. We needed more of him. Matthew Lillard scenes are really, really good. They are really, really, really good. I can't. I'm gonna wait to get into spoilers because it's kind of like a spoiler, but I don't know. His scenes are really, really good, especially once you get to the end. Especially once you get to the end, and it kind of sucked. He's playing. If you don't know who William Ashton is the main antagonist, the bad guy. We'll say that the bad guy. He's the bad guy, and in this story, he's the one that kills these kids that possesses the animatronics. That possesses the animatronics, and so William Ashton eventually gets killed by these animatronics when he goes to visit the pizzeria because he notices that I'm gonna give you a little bit of the lore. He notices that they're just walking around the place, and then he puts on the suit to try and scare them away or try and get them out. And because these animatronics force him to do that, they eventually get him under I think like a sprinkler, and then this sprinkler gets the suit wet. And when the suit gets wet, it spring locks, so it traps and closes tight. So it traps him in the suit. It basically traps him in the suit, and they held him hostage forever there until, of course, we get to Five Nights at Freddy 3, where we have the haunted house, But that's yeah. But in this, you don't know who he is at first. You don't know exactly who he is at first, and so yeah, you don't know exactly who he is at first, and you just assume he's just the guy trying to hire Michael, who is supposedly the son. At least that's how it is in the game. And here, he's not the son. He's not the son. He has no relation. His brother's name is not even Evan, like in the lore. If you know the lore, his brother's name is not even Evan. His brother's name is Garrett in the movie, and so they have no relation. They have no relation whatsoever. And so Michael is trying to figure out. He keeps trying to have the same nightmare, the same dream, to where he can figure out in his mind what he missed to find out who kidnapped his brother, who kidnapped and who killed his brother. In the movie, we also meet up with this police chick. I forgot her name, but she doesn't really play a major part in the story until like she doesn't really play a major part, at least in the game, until later down the line. But they introduced her now. They introduced her early now, so she's a part of the story. That's why I don't really know too much of her. Yeah, they introduced her early, so now she's a part of it. And so Michael has just been trying to find jobs, and he stumbles across this job. And William Ashton, who we don't know is William Ashton at first, hires him to watch over the abandoned Freddy'S pizzeria, while he's also trying to keep custody and take care of his sister. So I mean, basically, I like the cast. The cast is fine. I like how the animatronics looks. I heard they actually did animatronics, or they actually had. I'm assuming they actually had some people wear these suits for real. So that is cool. They don't look fake. It's not CGI. These all look real and spectacular. Like, they look amazing. My only problem, like my major problems, is literally with the fact that, for one, these animatronics don't talk. In the game, they have some creepy ass voices, and even though we don't see the possessed kids, like in the movie, we see the possessed kids a lot. At least I think like way too much. Like, we shouldn't. I felt like it should have been a couple of moments where we saw the kids. Like, maybe in like the beginning of the movie, we see them die, like how we see William kidnap them, and then we see them in the beginning when they're about to die, and then towards like some dream sequences we see them, but we see especially the main one, Fredbear, the one that's possessing Golden Freddy. Excuse me. You see him a lot. And not just him. You mostly see the ghost of the kid, and I just personally didn't think we need to see that much of them. The whole point of the animatronics is for them to be the actual embodiment of the ghosts of the kids, since the ghosts of the kids are possessing them, and their dead bodies are still in there. So it's kind of weird that we had to keep seeing the ghosts of the kids. At least we mostly see the ghost of the main Fredbear. Like, I thought that sucked, and I wish we got their voices. Their voices are creepy in the game. They're terrifying. They scare me as a kid, and it just would have been better if they just. I feel like it just would have been way better if they did that. What else? Not making there. This is somewhat of a spoiler, and I'm gonna keep it there. But not making Michael related to William Ashton kind of bothered me because, like I said, this is I don't think the game. I don't think the story is bad. I think for what we've got, it is fine. It is okay. I think they played it way too safe by not going deeper into the lore. I think if they would have went deeper into the lore and actually followed some of the major key points, it would have made it even better. Then maybe, you know, I would like it more. But who am I? But yeah, it's just it makes this it also makes rewatching it a little bit hard because it's not really a lot to that goes on within the story. It's really just a one through one. Michael is pretty much who you see most of the time. Like, you don't really see anyone else. Michael is really who you see most. Like, literally, like, you are following Michael throughout the entire time. The main stuff of Five Nights at Freddy's doesn't really even happen until like the very end, which is very faithful to the game in a way, because we do actually have 5 nights in the story. In the movie, it is actually 5 nights. Well, rather 5 days, because they show like literally 5 days that happen. And you literally, like, in the first night, nothing happens. It's pretty much the easiest night. In the second night, we getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Third night, okay, we're starting to build up. The fourth night is getting a little crazy, and then by the fifth one, we going fully in. It's getting hectic. So yeah, they follow that same. Yeah, they follow that. They follow that, and I thought, it was. Yeah, they gave us the 5 nights. But yeah, I don't have too much to say about this. I don't have that much to say. I mean, at least for the non spoilers, I guess. Um, the movie is okay. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. I thought if I was to rate it right now, I would give it a 7 out of 10. I feel like for the sequel, there's a lot to improve. I think they should go way more deeper into the story, way more deeper into the lore. Maybe if we can find a way to, maybe they can be like, oh, maybe Michael was actually adopted and William, not Michael was actually adopted and William, actually was trying to take his kid back or something. Like, we just find a way to, accommodate. We kind of fix that. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to stick with what they got. And for what we got, it's okay. It's all right. I mean, I felt like maybe this should have been a TV show. A TV show, and you would have had maybe like 5 episodes, literally, to represent the 5 nights. Each episode is based on a night, and they're maybe an hour long, and you shortly go in depth about the lore, and you explain it. And then by the end, you get to see, what we've been building up to, you know? Matthew Lillard, I felt, should have had way more screen time. Way more screen time. You have Stu Mocker and freaking Shaggy in here, and you only give him 3 scenes, and his best scene is at the end, which I'll explain in spoilers. It's just, like, come on, man. Come on, man. So 7 out of 10. That's what I rated. I have more in spoiler talks. I'll go more into depth spoiler talks, but really a 7 out of 10. That's what I rate the movie. So if you don't want to be spoiled and you don't want to hear me talk about anything else, go out, watch the film, come back, look at the spoilers. Or if you don't really care that much, then stay for the spoilers. But if you are leaving, I will catch you on the next one. But if you're still here, we're about to enter spoiler territory, so stay tuned. All right, you know how this goes. If you this is your opportunity to leave. If you don't actually want to be here for the spoilers, get out. Get out right now. Get out right now. If you don't want to actually be here for the spoilers, get out right now. We're about to go in a 3, 2, 1. Okay. So, for spoiler wise, I don't really got that much yet. It's not even that much. The girl, the police officer that's in the movie, once again, I forgot her name. I don't know her actress's name. She's actually in later installments, like later, like after like Michael and William are dead. She's in later installments, and she is actually, it's said the twist in the movie is that she is actually the daughter of William instead of Michael, and I'm gonna say his name is supposed to be Evan, but Garrett, she's actually the daughter of William, and she was here during all of the killings and at the very beginning. She was here. And so towards the end we meet Snap Bonnie. Snap Bonnie is the big golden bunny. The big golden bunny who William Ashton dressed up as to lure kids and kill them. And so he would lure all the kids back and he would kill them. At the end we kind of get to him becoming Snaptrap, and I just I just didn't really like how it ends. I mean, so in the movie there's a moment where Michael's sister finds the animatronics, and the animatronics start moving, walking, and talking. And okay, I'm gonna give the kid a pass because little kids, no offense, can be dumb and a little clueless at times. So them seeing a cute little bear or bunny, to me they don't look cute, but they look cute. They look like nice little animatronics. So they're gonna play around. But Michael's reaction to these animatronics was kind of weird. Like he didn't really have a response. He didn't really have like a response to them. He didn't really have. He kind of just reacted just like, oh, they're alive. They're just walking around. They're alive. And because there's a moment where it's a cute little montage of them playing around with the animatronics and just walking around. And I'm just like, this just makes this so less scary. And the movie already wasn't that scary to me. Like the kills were okay because you had to deal with the whole aunt situation, and you had to find a way to introduce other like characters that you knew that had to get killed off to amp up the fear factor, which it doesn't really. And because the movie is PG-13, and you can't really show these kills, and they're kind of just blah, and the blood doesn't look real, so it's like whatever. It's Blumhouse. But yeah, he's kind of like with these animatronics. He's kind of just like, I'll see. Hey, Foxy, I'll see you tomorrow. We still on for the game. Yeah, I got you tomorrow. Got you tomorrow night. It's my third night. I got you tomorrow. Hey, Fredbear, we still on for pizza? Got you. Like he's kind of just like whatever, He's just not really phased that these talking animatronics from an abandoned pizzeria that are possessed by ghosts are now trying to play with my sister. Like he's not really phased by that at all. And maybe that's how it's supposed to be, just in a way like the game. But I mean, realistically, I would be going through 3 stages of my life right now, seeing these freaking haunted attractions come to life. But that's just me. That's just me. But yeah, so by the end, the attractions basically just they turn on William Shatner. If you know the story, then you know that they turn on William Afton, and basically the suit snaps and traps him in there, but it's not because of water, it's because this time they have, so apparently William has been controlling these robots somehow by a drawing that shows him being friendly with them. And when Michael's sister changes the drawing and shows that he killed them, they turn on him and then they trap him in the costume, and then he eventually will become Snaptrap. I mean, it's okay, but it's just like, why didn't you just tell the original story? The original story would have made more sense if you just told it like that, because the original story, this is one of those ones where like, it's like, okay, I know you're not supposed to take everything from a story and you gotta somewhat make it your own, but this is a section where it's like, this is like with Batman or like another superhero or anything like that. This is where it's like, okay, you really need to take the lore, because the lore already makes it as good as a movie. So why don't we just, because the original, the animatronics are killing, whenever there's a new security guard, they kill the security guards because they think it's William, because he's the one that killed them. In the movie, they're just killing people basically just to kill them. Like there's no, yeah, like there's no reason for it. They're just killing people just to kill them. They only kill people because they wanted to, because they think William is there. But in the movie, it's just killing people to kill them. And in the game, in the story, in the game, eventually William, like I said before, he sees the animatronics moving, so he puts back on the suit to try and scare them away, and then the animatronics trick him and get him trapped in the suit, and then that's how we get Five Nights at Freddy 3. But in the movie, it's just because he's been controlling them to kill anyone that watches the place, because he watches the place, and because the drawing was on the wall, that was keeping them in control. But because the girl changed the drawing, that's what allows for them to turn on him. Even though I don't know how, if I was to haunt someone, I don't know how I forget who killed me. Like that's, I don't know. I don't know how I would forget the person that killed me or killed my significant other. Like killed someone I know. Like how do I forget that? Like I don't know how you would forget that, but whatever. And so eventually he's dead. He does this little weird corny line where he puts on the helmet and says, "I will return," even though you didn't really need to have Matthew Lillard say that. You could have just implied it. But outside of that, the acting is good. Matthew Lillard is great. He really, once again, when it comes to killers, he's really good at playing crazy. And I really wish we got a more in-depth scene about William Ashton. We should have got way more of him. I felt like there should have been, like, the beginning scene should have literally been about William Afton, and then we got to Michael. Or maybe the movie needs to be 2 hours and 30 minutes. I have no idea. Anything to really go more into depth about the lore. Because like I said, me personally, if you don't know anything about the lore, you might be very confused. And if you're going in this movie just not knowing anything, you might not enjoy it. Now, there are some people that enjoyed it and they didn't know anything about it, but that's very rare. Like, it's very rare. So, like, you really would need to know the lore about this. And because they changed stuff about the lore, it's like you really, with the whole switching of the daughter, like the daughter, like him having a daughter instead of being it Michael, you're really going to be lost. Like it's really going to get confusing. And I wish they just went more into depth about it. And if they would have did the thing with Michael, and you still had the moment where he still felt guilty, because he still feels guilty in the game and in the movie, where he feels like it's his fault that his brother died. But if you would have just, them changing it to what it is in the movie, you could have just left it to how it was in the game or in the story. Like it really, it's like they took like little mini stuff of what makes the story great, and then they added it in there with their own little stuff, while also trying to combine the first game and the second game and possibly tease into what would be the third game, but make it the second movie. So yeah, that's basically how that goes. But for what it was, it's okay. The movie's okay. I mean, hopefully they can take this movie as a lesson of what to do for the second one and then make it better. Or maybe they just gonna have to make like a prequel movie where we go deep into his stuff about William Afton. I would be totally fine with that. I think that would be great. I think that would be perfect. The only other spoilers is towards the end of the movie, you see that William Afton, who is eventually going to go from Snap Bunny to Snaptrap, is locked in another side in the side of the building, and that's when like they eventually tear the place down and blow it up, and then they turn it into the haunted house, and he's going to come back. That's basically what they're setting up from based off of the movie. And then the very end credit scene is basically Corey, who is a YouTuber, and Corey is in the movie, and Game Theorist is in the movie. Those are the other two spoilers. There was a standing ovation for both of them, and I think it was one or two other YouTubers. But yeah, Corey is in the end, and he sees Balloon Boy, and that was another problem. It's like Balloon Boy and the puppet weren't in the movie. Yeah, I that kind of sucks. Balloon Boy is just implied based on like this little toy, and puppet is nowhere to be found. So the only other thing is, yeah, he's nowhere to be found. So that's pretty much how that goes. It's just a Balloon Boy at the end, and they kind of show that he's like they needed to wind him up. Like there's like a little present that needs to be wind up, or the puppet will come out at the end, and Corey just jumps at it, and that's pretty much how it ends. So that's really it for spoilers. This really wasn't that much, but that those little teases, those are little main stuff. But yeah, I there's a lot of stuff I wish this movie did that could have made it better, and there's a lot of stuff that for what it is, it's not bad. For what it is, it's not bad. But I wish they did do some of the changes that I said, and maybe the story would have been way, way better. It could have been a 9 out of 10, a 10 out of 10. But it seems like the fans and some of the people that don't know the lore still enjoy it for what it is, and that's great too. The critics, on the other hand, they're going to tear it to pieces. Me, on the other hand, I think it's okay for what it is. I'm still sticking with a 7 out of 10. I think that's the most accurate rating, and hopefully in the sequel they do better and learn from this movie. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will catch y'all on the next one. Peace.